back to the channel, guys. Sergio from the Sergio Force. Yes, your eyes are not deceiving you. You are looking at NBA Jam on the Golden Axe Revenge of Death Adder. So, as some of you may know, this was my first arcade one-up cab I ever purchased. And had it now for just maybe 3 weeks or so. And on my previous video, I mentioned that I was going to be converting it into a main setup. And so I actually completed it last night. I finally got my my components, my two final components I was waiting for came in, and so I just put it together, and I've been testing it, throughout, and it seems to work pretty good. So I just wanted to share with you guys. Now I know there's tons of videos on YouTube. To be honest with you, I don't know that there's any of Golden Axe as of being modded. I know there's a lot of Ninja Turtle mods. I know there's a lot of other mods out there. So I wanted to mod my cab as cleanly as possible without deviating too much from stock. And so, I made a couple small, modifications, but I don't think anything that, that's going to detract from, returning it back to stock if I ever choose to. Probably not. I mean, why would you with all these games, right? So, without further ado, let's have a look at what I've done. So the first order of business is right underneath the control panel, and I'm going to try to zoom in here. And so what I've done is I mounted my PC speaker system volume pod right underneath the control panel. I didn't have to drill any wires or anything. There was a bit of a gap between this panel here and the underside of the, you could actually see I can almost stick my finger in there. And I just ran the wire, right under it, and it fit just fine. So a perfect location for the volume pod. When the action gets crazy at night, and you're playing whatever you're playing, and you've got the sound cranked up, and your mom, dad, girlfriend, boyfriend, whoever, is, kind of screaming at you to keep things down. Well, fear no more. Put in your, plug in your headphone jack, and there you go. You keep the action, contained within, your left and right ear and full stereo sound. Most games anyway, not all of them. Right underneath here, you'll see this little light is actually my PC power on-off switch. And so I wasn't sure where I wanted to place it, and I wanted somewhere convenient. And I decided to go for it. I drilled, a hole, fit it in no problem. And I thought it kept things nice and neat. To be honest with you, I didn't really want to drill the front panel, but this is only like 1/4 inch black Fibrex. I know it probably means nothing to you guys. I'm in the industry. I sell this stuff for a living, so I've got this in stock. If I ever needed to replace it, I can send it to one of my customer shops, have it cut the right size, and I just replace it. So it's not a big deal for me. So one thing I wanted to do was definitely keep the lit marquee, and I didn't want to hack into splicing wires and adding extra components I didn't need to. And so I read up online, and actually I came across a forum. I think it might have been Reddit, and one guy said, because somebody else was having the same issue, and so the guy suggested using the stock game board, but turning off obviously the power button so that the games don't enable, and then just hook up the power supply to the board, in which that would control the marquee, with the on-off switch. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. And so I was like, yeah, that makes sense, because there's a ribbon cable that comes from the control panel into the game board. And so I would think that obviously within the ribbon cord you have your on-off options and then your volume options. I'm like, okay, that sounds pretty neat. Let me try it. And lo and behold, off, the marquee is off as you see it, on, the marquee is on, right? So that makes sense, right? So I'll show you guys how I achieve that. So bringing you around the back of the cab here, you'll see the LCD converter board. Special thank you to my friend Nick, who actually taught me a thing or two about these boards. The first one I had purchased was for the older generation monitors. I didn't realize that these Gen 3 or 4 style monitors require a different LCD converter board. But I was able to cancel the previous order, reordered the correct board, got it in yesterday, plugged it in, made sure to follow a couple of tutorials on YouTube because I didn't want to fry the stupid thing. And lo and behold, I think, you know what, it was just basically plug and play. There was nothing to it. And I only made some minor adjustments to the monitor, meaning I made it a little bit darker because that's how I like my monitors. But other than that, it was painless. And so you'll notice down here, I kept the original game board that came with the cabinet. So you can see the ribbon cable is still attached here, and it goes into the control panel. So what I did is I hit this little button here, which is your on-off to turn the games on and off. I turned it to off, and then I just kept basically, here's the wire that comes from the marquee that goes into, obviously, you know, where it would go from stock. And then you've got obviously the power supply connector that connects right there. And so again, what I'm able to do is use the stock board to turn the marquee on and off. Now what I've done is I bought myself a smart power bar. And so I'm using the PC connected to the main outlet, and then it's hard for you guys to see because this piece of MDF is in the way, this brace. But I've got, let me just zoom out here. I've got all my other plugs connected into the green, there it is, there's one right there, into the green outlets. And so what that allows me to do, so when I hit that switch either on or off, it will turn the whole entire cabinet on, or it can turn the entire cabinet off. Next, you're looking at my PC. So my computer is just a Dell i5. I think it's a 3.2 gigahertz, you know, CPU. And I've got a GT640 graphics card in here. I know you guys are calling me crazy. You know, why go overkill with an i5 and a GT640, you know, for running these games? Well, you know what, I wanted to run, you know, games like Blitz and stuff like that, and I've heard many times games like that are a little bit resource hungry. And, you know, I didn't think the RetroPie was going to cut it. I've got no disrespect to the RetroPie. I've got one myself that I use, you know, for my gaming on the TV with my kids and stuff like that. But I think for these kind of units, for these kind of games, I think you got to go PC. Plus, the PC was only $80 anyway, and so why not play it safe? And so by doing all that, what you end up is with a near stock look, with the exception of obviously, you know, a hole that I enlarged at the bottom where the stock power supply wire would go. So you've got basically one wire coming out of the cab, just like you would with the stock power supply, and keeps everything nice and clean. So for my front end, I'm using Big Box. I spoke about it briefly on my last video, which was my Space Invaders project that I recently finished. And I'm a big advocate of this front end. Very easy to use, very easy to set up, and there's lots and lots of customization as far as, you know, the way you want to make the front end look. So I highly suggest you guys, you know, giving it a try if you haven't done so. There's tons of videos on YouTube on how to set it up. ETA Prime actually has a lot of good videos on installing and setting up emulators, etc., etc. So having said that, what I wanted to accomplish with my build is not hack up the control panel and add a lot of unnecessary buttons. I know a lot of people add coin buttons and, you know, extra buttons that they may need. I think the beauty about MAME is that it allows you to achieve a bunch of different options, different features using a combination of buttons. So I love the Golden Axe stock control panel. I think it's absolutely beautiful. So I didn't want to detract from it. So what I've done is I used a bunch of button combinations both on the big box front end and then obviously in MAME. So I'll show you guys what I mean by that. So right now we're into obviously big box. So you can see here, if I push the yellow button, that's my back button. So it takes me all the way back to my splash screen or my intro screen, right? So if I hit the red button, I'm now into obviously the main game selection. So let's say I want to play, you know, Guardians of the Hood. I mean, why not? This game is fantastic. Like, what? This is like Pit Fighter meets, you know, meets Streets of Rage. That's the best way I can describe it. I don't know what Atari were thinking way back in the days. A lot of cocaine, a lot of hookers, that's for sure, and a lot of alcohol too. Anyway, so if you want to play Guardians of the Hood, you know, you hit the red button again, which is your attack button. You hit play, and then the game loads up. And of course, I have, you know, a different theme for loading my games. And so here's Guardians of the Hood. And so it's how it says insert coins. So what I've done to insert coins is if you hold the yellow, which is the magic button, and you hold the one player start, you can see it's already crediting out, right? So I want to hit start, I hit the start button, and it takes me through, obviously, this guy Connor, he looks fantastic. So we pick Connor. I don't know, I've never played this game, so I don't even know what the heck it is I'm supposed to be doing here. Anyway, so you load up the game and then you realize how crappy it is, and you say, okay, you know what, I'm done with this. So you hit the one player and two player start, and it automatically brings you back to the main menu. From here, again, you could exit all the way back pushing the yellow. And so once you're into this particular menu here, you can hit the back button. So let's just back out here again. So you're into the main menu. You want to, let's say, shut down the system, or you want to exit, you want to reboot, sleep, whatever you want to do. You have different options here, right? So I kept the front end as clean as possible. Also with MAME, forgot to show you guys. Let's go to Golden Axe Revenge of that, or why not, right? It's only fitting. I'll show you what I've done as well to access the in-game menus without using the keyboard. So if I want to, let's say, I don't know, change dip switch settings, I want to, let's say, change controls, whatever the case may be. If I hit the blue button and the one player start, it brings me back into this menu here. And so from here, you can select whatever you want, cheat, whatever it is, and then you could return into your main menu, right? Or into the game menu, I should say. So I think this is a very nice way to achieve, having, being able to do different things without having an excessive amount of buttons added to your control panel. At least that's the way I see it. Everybody is different. And I've got NFL Blitz now, and I just wanted to show you guys that in fact it does work. It does play quite nicely. And that's the reason why I decided to go with a PC instead of a Raspberry Pi. And again, the beauty about all this is it's a very clean setup. And so once you're done playing, you could again exit out of the game, one player, two player, as you could see here. And then I'm gonna just on my big box, I'm just gonna scroll all the way back. And then I'm into the main menu, and then from here I hit the shutdown button, and then everything turns off, and you'll see the marquee goes off, and the whole cabinet goes off. Yeah, guys, let me know what you think. Overall, I'm very, very happy with it. I feel that I added a lot of value to the cabinet, without, hacking it and adding, extra buttons, extra components that might not necessarily be required. And there's a lot of playability now, and of course I've got all the original 5 games that came with the machine, of course, in my games list. And yeah, hopefully you guys enjoy this. If you did, hit that like and subscribe button. Hopefully this will help some of you out if you're thinking of converting your Golden Axe cab and feel a little bit intimidated. And if you got any questions or comments, please feel free to comment below. And yeah, guys, again, thanks for watching, and until next time.